Mai, ki te papataparo, StayMe Always, bring it to you organic, live and dynamic. So bring me your cups. And Megan, I do this all the time. I forget to tell my guests to bring a cup.
I've got a drink bottle.
Yay, that'll do. Cheers. And
Cheers
to the healing world.
I got my morning coffee.
Yeah, me too. Thai latte. Look, I am absolutely privileged to have an amazing individual sitting in front of me, Megan Colvill, known also as Megasaurus, which I'm going to ask you what that means in a moment on the show today. Business manager, super mum, adrenaline junkie. I tell you what, she is absolutely amazing. Her energy is absolutely astounding. Every time I used to visit you, Megan, I used to love it. Being in your presence, I tell you.
Stupendous even.
Stupendous.
Oh.
Takes you to another level. And I'm sure as we continue on with the show, everybody is going to absolutely see why. So welcome to the show, Megan.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem whatsoever. So look, on our show today, Aroha Wahine, the Healing Well and our show is a safe place where we converse about everything well-being. We focus on my 3 essential totem poles: mental well-being, emotional wellness, and spiritual awareness. And we talk various aspects of life, the everyday struggles and situations everybody goes in. And what's great about everybody we have on the show is that, unfortunately, life does not discriminate, because life is what it is, and we go through what we go through because it's intended. And what's great is we have so many different perspectives and how we can actually help and give back to people to help them to understand how to get through life when things possibly aren't the best, or then how to turn it around. So Megan, look, with you, I really wanted you on the show because we've got such a great relationship. Obviously, where do you live? Tell everyone where you live.
So I live in Timaru in the South Island of New Zealand. I've lived here my whole life. I grew up here. Did you hear that car?
I did, actually. Is that your car?
No, it's not my car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel really grateful to live where I do. It's got a great community. We're really close to the ocean and the mountains, and yeah, it's good. It's got a good feel.
Did you say Timaru?
Timaru, yeah.
Do you know any colliers there?
I do.
They're my cousins.
Who?
Do you know Felicity?
It's her birthday today. She's my twin.
Oh,
My mum and her father, William, first cousins.
Oh, madness. Her sister lives right behind me.
Yeah, they're my cousins. Yeah.
Small world, small world.
Cool.
And look, and obviously we're Matesi, Crane and I situated up here in Hamilton. So obviously my relationship and Megan's relationship is a vast distance. But obviously where we connect is through work. But look, Megan, what I want you to do is just tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us what you're currently doing, and then I'm sure things will unfold as we go. And make sure you tell us, how did you get the name Megasaurus or Megasaurus?
Oh, Megasaurus. So that was when I played roller derby. So I did roller derby for quite a few years, and I used to help manage the team that we had here in Timaru. So it's when you start roller derby, you have to pick a name, and so I like dinosaurs, so it was quite obvious.
That's so cool. How long?
To me, that was obvious why you called yourself Megasaurus.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
How long were you doing roller derby for?
Maybe like 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah, it was super cool. Such a fun sport.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
What made you? Well, what was the interest in roller derby and actually becoming involved?
So we didn't have a team here in Timaru. So a couple of girls that I knew started it, and then I was one of the first to kind of join them, and we helped create the team, and it's still going today, which is awesome.
And do you have much involvement today?
Not now. So I've been out of it for maybe about three years. I broke my ankle when I was skating, and it kind of set me back, and I've just been maybe a little bit scared, I guess, to go back. More just the fact that not having your mobility is terrible. Does terrible things for my mental health.
Yeah, and I obviously understand in that respect. And when you were a part of the team, what was like for you? What did you get out of actually being in that environment and being with the group of people that you were with?
It's such an incredible group of strong, empowering women that just supported each other. Like it was really good, and I guess it was exactly what I needed at that time in my life as well. So things just kind of happen for a reason, and they fall into place, I think.
And did you get to travel abroad, or was it just a local kind of thing that you were involved in?
Yeah, so it's such an obscure sport. So there's not a whole lot of teams. We were the only team in Timaru, and in New Zealand, like the big centres will have maybe one or potentially two teams. So we travelled to Queenstown and to Christchurch quite often, to Dunedin. We went up to like Tauranga and I think Whakatane as well. So it was cool, into Auckland. Yeah, so it's because it's so obscure, you just take every opportunity that you can to play as much as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone in your team, are they similar to you? Were they vast and far between? Like, what were the other women like in the team?
Oh, everybody is so varied. Like, ages from 18 until I think maybe the oldest skater we had was potentially in her 50s, I think. So no discrimination, no anything. Like, as long as you've got a good attitude and you're keen, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually the case. We're working with a guy, quite a well-known entertainer, and that's what he always says. What's the ahua like, which means what's the personality like? And yeah, it's exactly what you're saying.
Ultimately, those people around you will ultimately affect you inadvertently along the way. And look, tell us a bit about what you're currently doing now. I know you work for Pagani, so kind of give everybody a bit of an understanding of what you do.
I do. So I manage the Timaru store. You can't message me while I'm trying to chat. It keeps popping up on my screen. I see this.
I love it.
Yeah, so I manage the Timaru store. I've been there about coming up 3.5 years. And it's great. I really love it. It's definitely the best job I've ever had. And I work with really awesome people, and the support is really great. And just the whole company structure and environment is really good and really supportive, and I appreciate that.
Good. What other sort of roles have you had in the past where you've kind of realised that probably it wasn't always the best choice or decision at the time?
I've done retail for the past like nearly 14 years, which has been great, and I've had awesome opportunities and worked for different companies. And I don't know, I think maybe just coming into Pagani at this time in my life and having this opportunity was just exactly what I needed.
And what is it about retail that you really love?
I just love talking to people, like just having a chat. I mean, I get to play dress ups at work, which is fantastic, and talking to heaps of really interesting women and just trying to support them and make them feel good about themselves, I think is the big one, because women seem to hate themselves.
Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Yeah. Why do you think that is, Megan? Why do you think that the female psyche has really changed the way that we perceived ourselves? You've been in retail for 14 years, so was it different 14 years ago up until now?
I guess it's hard to say, because I guess I've grown as a person as well, and the way that I like converse with people now, and the way I interact with my customers is a lot different than I did when I was 22. So like I've grown a lot, and I guess I've got more life experience as well, so I can relate to a lot more people on lots of different levels. So hang on, I'm just going to
someone messaging you.
Yeah, just gonna like turn off things.
Looking for your notifications,
Yeah,
turn on face so it
but-
doesn't pop down on your window.
Yeah, they keep popping up and it's real distracting.
Oh, you're in demand.
So yeah, I think to answer your question, no, I don't think women have changed as to how they feel about themselves. But I think now I've got more of a grasp and more life experience that I can relate to them better.
Yeah. And what about your team? Because obviously working in that environment, I fully understand, the various situations that a lot of team members will come in, whether it's to do with, a lot of it's what to do with their personal life, boys, men, maybe their parents, and, how do you actually help them? Because that whole mental health and well-being side of things can really affect people. So I know with you, you're very energetic. That's what I love about you. You're very out there and outgoing. You listen, and you do actually give back to a lot of people. So, what sort of suggestions can you help people if they are finding that they're struggling? What can you offer? What can you suggest?
I guess it's having a good support network, having good friends that you trust, that you can talk to, and just finding ways, like looking at yourself and finding what things make you feel good. And doing more of that and making time for yourself and figuring it out what it is that's making you stressed, and like write some stuff down, try and break it down into little bits so that it's easier to manage and easier to understand for yourself and easier to process. But yeah, I think just finding things that you enjoy that release stress, I guess, is good. Yeah.
Have you had any kind of effects or, mental, emotional, or spiritual effects that have actually changed your life for the better?
I guess everything changes our lives for the better, in a sense. Like, well, I guess it is if you take it that way. Like, it's all your perception. Like, I like to try now. I've changed and grown a lot, like even in the last, few years. But I think if we take the opportunities that are presented and learn and grow from them, to make ourselves better people. I don't even know if that answered your question. I feel like I just rambled now.
No, definitely did.
I just ramble all day.
I've got this tendency to be in a serious conversation with somebody and then something will catch my eye and I just verbalize it. So I'll be in the car having a conversation with Tezzy Created, and then all of a sudden I'll see a whole group of cows and I'll be like, oh look, there's lots of cows.
We'll be having a topically serious conversation. We'll come around the corner somewhere and there'll be animals, whatever types of animals, and she'll go, oh, look at all these sheep. Like,
random.
Yeah, like an incongruous juxtaposed to a mountain or something like that. Or we'll be watching something on, because I've got a real, what she thinks is a real peculiar sense of humor. And what I watch this, my favorite thing on Instagram at the moment is this rat that's trying to run away from the guy with the camera, obviously, and it climbs up this pole, walks off this ledge and jumps off, but you can't see what's on the other side. And then the guy shows what's on the other side, and it's like a 20-story drop to the ground. And I think things like that are funny. She doesn't. She thinks I have a peculiar sense of humor. And then we watch this horse, and I'm just watching this black stallion just running free along a beach, which is how life should be. And the one thing she notices, oh, he's got one sock.
But it's the little things like that that actually kind of break the seriousness of it all. And that's what makes, and as we spoke about just before the show, that's what makes us all unique and different. Because how boring would life be if everybody was Jamie? Oh my gosh, actually, I think everyone would just top themselves. So just saying. But
don't say that either. That's terrible. No, that's not how it would be.
Actually. But I think it's more the fact that, you know, we've all been put on this earth for a particular reason, and everybody crosses our paths. And I always talk about this on the show, that everyone crosses our paths for a reason and a purpose, even though we're unsure of what that reason and that purpose is. And look, we were talking about, you know, how, all the things that you've been doing of late. You know, you seem to be a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
I never used to be. I met some really cool people this year that I guess pushed my boundaries, which has been fantastic, because I would never have, like I did, I took my son skydiving over Labour weekend down in Queenstown, and a few months ago, if you'd asked me to do that, no way. Why would I want to do that? Like, that's stupid. And now I would definitely do it again, and I can't wait to do it again. Like,
what was the change? Like, what was it? A person? Was it a thought? Was it the idea? What was it that made you transition and change that thought process?
I guess because I was given opportunities and I did, and I said no, and I guess I regretted that. So having that regret, so I guess, and then when I said to my son about, I said to him, do you want to go bungee jumping? Because that's what I had a regret over not doing. And he was like, I really want to go skydiving. And I was like, let's do it. Yeah. So we went skydiving. So we haven't been bungee jumping yet. It's on our list, and we'll do that next time. But he's keen as a bean to jump out of a plane again. So it's awesome.
I love that sort of stuff. I remember being on the Spire. Will Smith has just been on filmed on top of it by his team, obviously, via a drone. And so I used to live in Dubai, obviously, and then the Burj Khalifa is in Dubai. I've got a lot of friends there. And through one of those friends, I won't mention his name. If he sees his show, he'll know that I'm talking about him. So he got us up onto the Spire deck where people base jump off. And there was a big sandstorm coming in, and we got called back. And so I pretended to walk back with the group, waited till they were almost back at the door, and then I took off, ran and jumped into the sandstorm.
Incredible. It would have been amazing.
I don't think I could have done that.
It was so exhilarating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all the things that you're thinking about wanting to do now, obviously there's the opportunity that you're talking about and the regret of not doing it previous. What other reasons are you doing it? Because ultimately, for me, you know, hearing you say that, it's really also to do about that self-confidence in your own kind of inner self, wanting to explore those experiences.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't give something a go, how do you know it might not be your next favourite hobby?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, it could be something that you are so passionate about, but you've got no idea because you just haven't given it a go.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And the other thing too, whenever I come down, I think every time when I'm talking to your regional manager, Crystal, we're like, oh, do you have any more tattoos? And I did see on a couple of your posts that you did get, I think, was it love tattooed on your hand, on your fingers? Is that correct?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Tell us all about your tattoos, because I have always actually been fascinated with your tattoos, because Megan is always posting amazing photos from work. She's very much so, you know, the face of Pagani and the brand. And I love how she puts outfits together. So actually, if you want styling tips, Megan's the person to go to. But the way that you dress yourself and the way that you come across, and you exude confidence, and your tattoos just really speak of who you are. So tell us a bit about your tattoos and why you got them.
I got my first tattoo when I was 15. I wanted to go and get a piercing in my lip, and my mum was like, I'd rather you got a small tattoo. So I did both. And it kind of spiraled from there. And now I don't even really see how heavily tattooed I am until I see pictures of myself. Like, you kind of just don't see them on yourself anymore. But it's really cool. It's an extremely expensive hobby to have as well. But they all tell stories, and they all tell different parts of my life, and lots of memories, and it's cool. And it's funny that Pagani will post my stuff, because I never thought that I would be Like, I never thought that I would fit the brand, I guess.
Oh no, you absolutely fit the brand. And you know what's great about you, Megan, is that you're not afraid to express yourself, and that's what's awesome for women, is that we need more of the Megasauruses and the Megs in this world to express who they are and who they feel comfortable to be, and not be ashamed of who they are. Which again is why I will always say, that energy of yours is just, I don't know, I always seem to gravitate towards you, even though it's through a screen and your photos,
Yeah.
obviously.
You said that you're a mum, right?
Yes, yeah.
I've got a slogan for you. Megasaurus, mums, guns, and puns.
I don't know that I'm allowed to tell people that I shoot guns.
No, let's explore that. Tell us about that, because I know, again, I was fascinated with that photo. I think the last time I shot a gun was when I was actually twice. One with my dad to practice shooting up against the clay wall, and then when I was actually at Girl Guides.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, tell us about your experience.
The first time I shot a gun was when I took my son on school camp a couple of years ago, and they just had like the little pellet guns. So I got put in charge of like that station with all the kids and the guns and making sure they didn't shoot each other. But until then I'd never even held a gun. So and I met a really cool friend this year, and he has his gun license, and is very safe and part of a club, and gave me the opportunity to go and have that experience, which is incredibly empowering as well.
Would you say that holding guns and firearms and things that could be chaotic has addictive qualities?
Yep. Yeah. It's a little bit scary. Because of the damage that they can do. So you have to be so incredibly safe. But yeah, I could see why people get into that sport.
Yeah. I think it'd be like anything that's has high leverage components in it. For example, skydiving, bungee jumping, shooting guns. I think we're all attracted to the possibility of it turning into carnage and chaos. For example, your rollerblading, roller derby, like the possibilities and the implications that could happen, that could occur there. Broken legs, broken arms,
Ankles,
mangled ankles, or as Jamie said to me when I broke my ankle just recently, and it's only just fused and it started to mend, she called me cankles.
So kind. What a kind.
loving.
I just love the compliment.
Yeah. But I think you're right. There is that empowering quality. And what is it about that empowerment that I suppose gives you that feeling? Because I know for me, I get so much out of a lot of the activities. But for me, if I know that I can help somebody, it's just that sense of fulfillment, and it does empower me to want to keep going, to really want to do better and give, and just continually giving to people. Like for yourself, obviously, that whole empowerment of what you're doing, and the thrill and the emotion behind it obviously means something why you do it.
Yeah, I guess you don't know until you give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess you can encourage other people to push their comfort zones and do things. And because I talk to people all day, every day, it's cool to be able to have things like that to talk about, so that you can inspire people to push their own boundaries and take opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have as well.
Yeah. How does your staff, what do you do with your staff when you find that they need that bit of a self-confidence push or self-belief kind of push? What do you do with them to help them through?
Sorry. I always try and support my staff by giving them heaps of encouragement all the time anyway, and really giving them praise, you know, when they've done things. And I feel like I've got a pretty open relationship with all of my staff, and that we can talk about work things and things outside of work, and you know, like I constantly check in on them and make sure that life is good with them, and how I can be of any help or support, because we all go through things.
Yeah. And do you think COVID has really made an impact on people's mental and emotional and spiritual well-being? Yeah, talk to us about that, because obviously you and I both know it absolutely has, but it's going to look different for everybody. So tell us about that.
COVID is just, it's an interesting time. It's creating such a huge divide in people. And it's really sad, because we started off last year, you know, be kind to each other. And now there's just a huge segregation and a huge divide. And now people are saying that, you know, you can't come and spend Christmas with us, you know, because you potentially haven't got a vaccination, or because you're not meeting this criteria. And people are cutting other people off from their lives. And it's terrible. I don't like what it's doing to people.
And have you had, what are you doing to try and overcome all of this? Because it's going to affect everybody differently. And, you know, if people don't know how to manage it, or what to do, or how to figure this out, what would you suggest?
I mean, I'm terrible. I'm probably trying to keep my head in the sand and just be completely naive as to what's going on, and just
Nothing wrong with it.
playing dumb a little bit. Because it is creating such a divide, and some people are really scared, and some people aren't. And I'm just trying to, especially I guess at work, because I see so many people there, just trying to keep like a really positive vibe in the store, and a positive like vibe in myself. And just trying to talk to people about anything else.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about what else you're doing in your life. Like, you know, what are you doing today? What are you having for lunch? What are you doing in the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you go into a store, and it's been a few years since I've actually been on the other side of the counter. But, you know, what I found the most is that ladies literally just want to escape their life, and they want to go somewhere where nobody knows them, and they can talk the way that they want, how that they want, say whatever they want, and they're actually not going to be judged.
And I try not to have any judgment with anyone. And I love that people feel like they can open up to me in my store. And I have had amazing, incredible conversations with women about all sorts of things, which is great. Like, fitting rooms are a great place to have chats. So
it becomes real, doesn't it?
It is.
Brings an added dimension to the term retail therapy.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, sometimes I hug people lots in my shop too. Like, and because I guess I live in such a small community, I see lots of my customers are regular, so they come in a lot. And like, I had a lady in last week, and I looked at her and I was like, "So are you okay?" Because I could see that something in her wasn't right. And I was like, "You look like you've lost heaps of weight." But she didn't look well. And she was like, "I lost my husband 6 weeks ago. Like, he died of a heart attack while he was whitebaiting." And I felt so heartbroken for her that I just like ran round, and I asked her, I was like, "Is it okay if I give you a hug?" And I gave her a hug, and she was like, you know, "Thank you for noticing."
Yeah, amazing. You are the epitome of what people should be.
But I mean, what do you say? There's no words that you've got to to support this person. Like, I mean, I gave her a discount, but it's all I could do from my end.
Yeah. But you know what? It was more the fact that you allowed your inner self to actually act in a way that you probably would never have thought, because how powerful is actually a hug?
I hug people probably way too often.
I always want them from one particular person.
Yeah.
Hey. But that's the point, though. I'll talk to you later. That's the point, though. And I suppose going back to what you're talking about, that whole segregation, I know when I was, managing, and even when I was a part-timer working in Pagani so many years ago, and we've had so many different people come in for different reasons, the natural action is just to, when you hear that type of information, is just to reach out and give people hugs. And you actually get it, you feel the connection from a stranger sometimes versus the people that you actually love, because it's genuine.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Maybe we need to put signs, free hugs available.
Oh no, don't do that. I got in trouble because I put up a no discrimination sign in the window.
I love that about you. I love you about that. Oh my gosh.
You're in trouble for that.
Discriminate, but you're having an issue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? You are who you are, and that's why you are so successful in your role. That's why your store is successful. That's why your community absolutely loves you, and your staff love you, because you are who you are, because they know where to go when they need someone to talk to, and that's obviously evidential. And what I see in you and how I talk about you all the time, even though you're never here. I talk about you when you're not even here. So for you, did you have a superhero when you were growing up, or that person that you really looked up to?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's a hard one.
It is a hard one. I guess it's probably, more my mum, because she was just the most vital role in my life at that time. No, I don't think no, not superheroes as such. I guess probably more my mum.
Yeah.
And I guess that's just because that, she's in your life every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And what would you say would be your biggest fear?
My biggest fear? Oh, you didn't give me like this question when I asked for them. These things I need to make notes of.
I'll throw a couple at you just to kind of catch you off guard, because this question can be answered so many different ways. There's so many levels to this, but it's entirely up to you how you want to answer.
I guess my biggest fear is probably losing myself.
Yep.
Because if I'm not myself, I can't be there for anybody else either.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a really good answer. I know for myself, and as time has gone by, I've found that I actually have lost myself and who I am and who I stand for years ago. And it's taken me quite a number of years to rebuild my self-esteem and my self-confidence, to know that actually who I was to start with and who I am now, I'd rather go back to the person who I was at the start. And it was all to do with, and it was all to do with happiness. It's just about being happy. A lot of the time we become so consumed with the day to day, like being a mum, having to make money, having to pay the bills, having to live up to, different people's expectations. It definitely changes who you are and who you want to be. Have you found that over the years?
Definitely. And I think you have to look at your life and I guess put things into perspective and find out what's most important for you. Because it is easy to lose yourself. Like, it definitely is. And I think it's good I think maybe we have to lose ourselves to find ourselves again and to find out what's important.
I like that. Yeah, definitely. Because at the same time you're growing, and there's probably things that you could have dealt with or done better. But what I always talk about, and you'll see in my posts, I talk a lot about momentum brushes. And momentum brushes are the things and the ways that tantalize and palpate your senses to, change the way that you're feeling. And it's more directed towards happiness and joy and feeling fulfilled. And I'm just finding of late, and especially during these COVID times, people are struggling so much that they just don't know what little things can put a smile on their face or, make them happy for that short moment.
And it's just those little things. And I think, like, for me, it's getting outside, like getting out into the sunshine, even getting out into the rain. So like on my lunch breaks, I'm really grateful that I have Caroline Bay right on my doorstep. So I can leave work and walk up the road and walk around the bay by the ocean. And in half an hour I can be back at work. But I'm feeling so much freer, and just, I've had fresh air, I've had sunshine, or I've had rain, and I've just had time to clear my head. And I talk to people about that all the time, when I talk to people at work and I'm like, what are you doing today? Like, go for a walk, get some fresh air. Like, it's beautiful. It's so close. Yeah.
Underestimate the small things that are part of our everyday life, just like that, the sun, the air, nature, animals, things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is about the sun and the ocean, especially the ocean, and just sounds for me really just rejuvenates me, and it brings a sense of calmness.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Resonant frequency healing.
Yeah.
We connect our bodies to the earth and stay away from electrical appliances and devices that actually interfere with our reconnection to our tūranga waiwai, to papatūnuku, to the earth.
No, but I've got to take a photo of the sea so I can post it so people know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's what I end up doing.
It's a place to be. It's calming. It's good.
Yeah.
You unpacked it really well before when you were speaking previously on finding yourself, because we evolve, obviously, or we devolve, unfortunately, in some cases. And so I think there's a process in what you were intimating to, where when we're going through new experiences or we come to a transitional point in our lives and we come to a fork, and that fork in the road could be an intersection that's shaped like a cross, or there could be multiple other intersections that dissect that position, that certain positional transition point in our life. And I think you unpacked that beautifully before when you were talking about, and Jamie talks about it with momentum brushes. Everybody reverberates the same mental messaging, whether it's momentum brushes. I love that one because it explains and it gives the title to what we actually do when we're trying to find things that make us happy. And it's really just the little things. And we spoke about these things with a good friend and colleague of ours yesterday on this show for Arohatani. And we did a business slot with him and his partner. And everybody seems to reverberate the same sentiment. It's finding the things that really matter and doing those things daily. And that's why momentum brushes is so powerful. You unpacked that beautifully before. And people really need to focus on stop chasing the Americanisms. Stop chasing that life and reconnect with who you really are and what really matters to you, because you see so many people being pulled away. And this was echoed with another guy we had on our show, Rupin Parkinson, when he was talking about how we've gone away from nature. And that's what really makes us Kiwis at the end of the day, is our connection to nature and understanding the science behind it, the healing that nature gives us via resonant frequency sound, via connecting to Gaia, so to speak, the earth, and the water and what water actually does to us, because we're 70% water according to conventional science. So if we're 70% water, then why wouldn't we get near or in bodies of water to help heal? Yeah.
How do you fill your cup?
By doing things that make me feel good and surrounding myself with good people. Like, I like to spend time with my friends and time with my family, and time by myself. And I think that's important. It's hugely important too. And I guess people struggle with that as well, but it's just trying to find the things that you can do by yourself that bring you joy and bring you peace. Yeah.
And your son, tell us a little bit about your son and all the things that you do with him.
So my son's 13, he'll be 14 in January, and his name's Pilot, and he is always down for an adventure.
Is that the Roman spelling or is it the Gregorian spelling?
No, it's like the plain spelling.
Love it.
Yeah, there's no like fancy spelling. Yeah.
Name and Pontus.
Yes, yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. But no, he's cool. He's got a really good attitude, and I'm really proud of him. And I like to just take him to have new adventures and new experiences, so that it grows and shapes him as a person as well.
Yeah.
So like in his lifetime, he's been pretty lucky, and so have I. Like, I'm pretty grateful that the travel that I've done around the world, given that the state that the world is in now, it's definitely, you know, such an eye-opener, and it makes you really appreciate and really grateful for where we live in New Zealand and the lifestyle that we have, and I'm grateful that I could show him a lot of that as well. So, you know, like, he's seen how other kids go to school where they have, you know, like 12-foot high fences with barbed wire, and there's no grass, and it's all concrete, and, you know, so he doesn't take these things for granted.
Gotta love that. Gotta love kids that appreciate what their lives actually give to them, and how in New Zealand, even people who live below the supposed poverty line here in New Zealand, when you compare that to other parts of the world and their poverty line, we do not live impoverished here, not even close.
Where was it that you went, Megan?
I've been all over the place. I've been to Europe a couple of times. I've been to Japan and to America. Been to Australia. Went to Hawaii. That was really cool. Hey. Yeah.
What about Pilot? Whereabouts is he been in the same places?
Yeah. So I think we started traveling with him when he was 5, and we took him to Australia. Me and his dad, and then from there we went to America for a couple of weeks, and then we spent 5 weeks in Europe traveling around, and then we went to Hawaii for a week, and we've been to Japan for a couple of weeks as well. So his dad and I separated about 3.5 years ago, about the same time I started at Pagani, but since then we've had such a good relationship that we've been on 2 family holidays together, and we still hang out, and we still have Christmases together and stuff, which is great. And it just shows that people can still be friends and be a family, even though they don't live under the same house, like under the same roof.
And look, I hope you don't mind if we explore that, because obviously I'm not with my 2 girls' father, and a lot of people during COVID actually messaged me. This is last year, and they were sad because their partners wouldn't let them see their children, which was really, unsettling for me, because I would hate to think that my kids couldn't see their father and vice versa. So how do you make that relationship work to become successful, so that you can both be in the same room? Because some people can't even be in the same room together.
I mean, I guess it depends what happens in your relationship breakdown. I guess, because there's so many different ways that it can break down. And we just grew apart. Like, I still love him and he's my best friend, and we still, you know, do lots of stuff together, and we still hang out as a family. And I think our communication and our relationship as friends has grown immensely over the time we've been apart. But we just didn't partner well together anymore.
Yep.
And that's okay. And it's just coming to that understanding together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know, talking about pilot before, and on our shows we talk a lot about the first 7 years of a child's life really transitions them and molds them into who they end up being as the years go by into the future. Like, how much do you agree with that?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, who else have they got to look up to? You know, the people that they're spending the most time in, the people that they share a house with, they're gonna relate to you and look up to you because you're the most important people in their lives at that point. And everybody else that I guess you surround them with as well. But it's showing them how to treat each other and treat other people. And he's great. He's got a huge heart and he's really empathetic and really kind and really thoughtful.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that just briefly, or prolongedly if you like it. So, how important do you think it is not only to shape the heart condition of a child, but to shape the mind of a child? How important do you think that is?
Huge. I mean, they grow up and will take on and I guess absorb the way that you treat people and the way that you react to things. And I haven't always been the best, and I've been trying to work on myself, but that shows through now as well. So, you know, it's all the way that we talk about other people in our lives and people that we see on daily basis, and just being kind and spreading love and more of that kind of attitude and that mindset.
Yeah.
I guess as well, and just the way that we see things and we assess situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have another imperative question to you.
Okay.
How important is it to be truthful all the time?
It's really hard keeping up with lies.
Yeah.
Well, what did you say? Sorry.
It's really hard keeping up with lies.
Yeah. So, like, without being disrespectful to, because this isn't a pot shot at anybody. All I'm doing is just using a random example of something that just popped into my head. So, what's your deal on the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny? And, you know, to what level of truth do you go to in teaching Pilot these things?
He was real smart, so he cottoned on to shit pretty fast. Like,
Easier.
Sounds like my kind of man.
Yeah. So as much as you try and I don't know, you play those roles when they're little and they're growing up because it's fun and Christmas is about that, but it's never been, I guess Santa Claus isn't what it's wholly about, and you know, Santa would maybe bring a gift, but he never gave the best gifts because the best gifts come from parents. But yeah, no, it didn't take him long to figure out that, hang on, these don't add up.
Yeah. And you know what? It was never, I think for parents, it's never the intention of the lie. It's more about what you said. It's about the fun. It's about the mystery. It's about the excitement. It's about, for me, I think too, with my girls, it's about showing them the creativity behind the messaging, even though they've got no idea what any of that means. But when they grow up and they have children, you know, they'll remember all the things that we did as parents to make it the most fun and exciting time of their life, you know, even though it was for only like a couple of hours.
But that's it. And I guess it's just, you know, it's that spirit and that fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, before we finish up, we were talking about birthday month.
Ah, yes, birthday month.
Tell us what birthday month is all about. And you know what? I would never have thought about birthday month. Maybe a week, even though I've never done a week. Maybe a day. Sometimes I don't even do a day. But I love the whole concept of birthday month. Why are you doing that?
it's probably the most terrible concept anyway, because I just treat myself because I deserve it. It's my birthday month. It's my birthday. I
love your outlook. That's why I
mean,
love you, Megan.
I love the
nobody gets to make it their next birthday, so I think it's really important that we celebrate that. And so, like, I guess I've been trying to make more of a conscious effort to, I guess, have like lunches and coffees and dinner and catch up with all the people in my life that I care about. So my birthday month is spending that with the people that I love and care about and that bring me joy. And, you know, drinking too much coffee and having too many lunches out and having great conversations and connecting with the people that I love. And it's great.
I love it.
I'm really looking forward to February now. I hope someone cottons on to that concept.
You have to do it for yourself.
Yeah, great response, Megan. Love it. And you know what? I'm going to keep saying it, but having you on the show has been so enlightening. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been exciting because, you know, there's not a lot of megasauruses that I have in my life to actually aspire to. And as much as you and I have viewed our relationship slightly differently purely because of work, but, you know, you amaze me all the time with who you are, what you do, just everything really, because we need, like I said, megasauruses like you in our lives.
Yeah.
You actually bring light.
That's so kind. Thank you. I'm honestly just a goofball. Like, and I just do lots of dumb shit because I think it makes people laugh. And because people comment and they're like, I love seeing your photos. And my friends will harass me and tell me to change up my poses because they're getting stale. Like, so it's funny. And if it brings someone, you know, a laugh or a smile, then why not?
Yeah. And they say special people are just normal, everyday people.
You're one of them.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Megan, for being on the show.
Yeah.
I absolutely know our discussion is going to help so many different people. It's going to help women become even more empowered and actually appreciate that what they're doing and how they're doing it, there is nothing wrong with what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
And it's about being yourself and who you are, and that's what I love. And that's the message that I got from you today.
Different lanes for different planes. And what do planes do? They fly.
Yeah. I think we just have to love ourselves and make sure that we tell the people in our lives that we love them too and that they're important.
Yeah.
The little thing.
So, you know, this show today, talking to you here, I've been looking for a slogan for myself as a music producer, and I actually just got it just in the show. And branding is huge for me. You just need to ask this one because branding is messaging. That's who you are. That's the quintessential intrinsic nature of who you are as a person. So when you put brands together for your own personal projects, it means so much more. And you just gave me mine today. Different lanes.
So do you want royalties now?
I will definitely give you some, and I'm being dead serious about it. So before you go, because you've just given me a taonga tukuiho, a gift from the heavens, so to speak, because now I've got my slogan. So thank you for that. I just want to pay tribute to you and compliment you, because I was somewhat hesitant about doing this kind of show for the healing well, and man, I was absolutely wrong. This has probably been one of the best shows that we've ever had, and I'm not just saying that to blow smoke up your ass. I'm actually being sincere and genuine, because I see all the beautiful qualities and characteristics in people such as yourself, and this has just reminded me of the fact that we are all just people trying to get through life and trying not to subsist but exist. and activate the beautiful gifts and talents that we have. And those things can be sliced in a myriad of ways. And what you've given to the show today, to me and Jamie, and to our audience, has just been absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. I feel like I should say that you should continue to be open-minded and trust Jamie.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because I know.
Yeah. So before you go, 10 questions. I do this on every show except for the business one, because we've got too many people on the business one. So Nets or Lakers?
What?
Nets or Lakers?
Basketball.
NBA.
Or
It's
neither.
a round one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who
Neither.
Magic Johnson is?
That's my answer. It's a round ball. It's a sport. Good. Both. Awesome. They're great people.
Okay, then. Pork or chicken?
Who?
Pork or chicken?
No, I don't eat meat. I'm a vegan.
Okay, vegan. Okay, watercress or puha?
Pardon?
Watercress or puha?
I don't think I've ever had any of those. I'm going to go watercress because it's a beautiful word.
You might like to hold true to your motto with try watercress or puha.
Yeah, well,
Pink or green?
green.
Prince or MJ?
Ah, that's a tough one. I can't pick. They're both awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Mountain or sea?
Both.
Snowboard or surf?
I've done neither, but I'd like to do both. I just bought a pedal board, so that's fun.
Oh,
Oh, well, that would be surf.
cool.
All Blacks or Black Caps?
I don't follow either, but I'm sure they're amazing people.
Answers.
Yeah. Hunting or fishing?
No,
None.
None.
don't hunt animals.
I thought you might go with hunting because of the gun
No,
predilection. So it's probably pointless asking you the last one, but I'll ask it anyway. Killer or crayfish?
no, they can stay in the ocean. That's where they live.
Yeah, love your answers.
So I just have one more question. Can you clarify what vegan means?
So I don't eat or consume or buy anything that comes from an animal.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So would you class killer as an animal?
Well, it comes from the ocean and it's alive, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Touche.
No, fair
Good
enough.
point.
Yeah.
So
Well, look,
Be kind to all kinds.
exactly. I love your thought process. And again, I'm going to keep saying it, just who you are. Continue being who you are, Megan, because you're actually making a difference in this world. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really, absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome.
So you take care, have an amazing day, and we definitely will keep in contact.
this was so cool.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
Pop it, switch it, drop it and slow like you slow again. Pop it, dial it, drop it and dial it, and other way, pop it, perk it, drop it and just let it percolate. Pop it, through it, drop it and cruise and we gotta stay. Pop it, switch it, drop it and slow like you slow again. Pop it, dial it, drop it and dial it, and other way, pop it.